Greetings. We're going to talk about twin flames and astrology today. I started recording at 11:11. What does it mean? I don't know. I keep seeing that. That never stops, by the way. They come and go, the numbers. I met my twin flame 7 years ago. I went through the whole awakening. Some of that stuff comes and goes. It comes in cycles. Now, it's not anything like it was at the beginning. Holy shit. Anyway, so here's the thing with twin flames and astrology. I'm just gonna um, just tell you everything that I know or everything that seems to make sense also. So what I know about it for sure, what we've been able to prove, and um, like where do you go from there logically speaking? Okay. Now the one of the things that everybody gets right about twin flames is that you two are the same soul. All right, there's basically three things that everybody gets right about twin flames. It's one soul in two bodies. You're the same soul. Also, there's something you can do to get them to be with you, which actually it's not a doing, it's a being. It's not doing or action. It's being, but we'll talk about that later. The third thing is you have to detach from your twin flame. Those are the three things everybody gets right about twin flames. And then, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that they add, which doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of different ideas about what you're supposed to do to get your twin flame to be with you, right? There's like a million of them, which is stupid because everybody agrees about what twin flames are, right? You're the same soul. So if we all agree about what twin flames are, what's the problem? Like why are there 900 different ways that it works supposedly? No, there's one way. There's one way that it works. Okay, for you to understand how astrology maybe plays into things with your twin flame, I'm very skeptical that it does. Um, as far as like your ability to be with them, that it would affect that. I don't think so. Maybe, but for you to really understand this, we gotta review some basics. Okay, there's a very simple explanation for twin flames. So, in other words, how is it that you guys are the same soul? How does that work? How is that true? Right? Yeah, well, there's a pretty straightforward answer. Your twin flame, they're one of your past lives, dude. that's that's what's going on here. Your twin flame, best answer, they are one of your past lives. The soul splitting hypothesis that came from a literary work by Plato called Symposium. And Symposium, you can go read it for yourself, the little excerpt where he talks about it's as if the soul split in half and now they are being reunited. Right? If you go read that, it's just all soulmates. It's all romance and love, and they can never be apart. The one always has to be by the other's side, and they just love each other so much. And now, that's what's in there, Symposium, right? What's not in there is Dark Night of the Soul, so the desperation, the sense of meaninglessness after the initial breakup, your whole life falling apart, right? There's no mention of Kundalini. There's no mention of a tornado of psychic visions, which keep coming true. Very important for it to be real psychic ability. You're being given information through the heart, and it comes true a lot. right? Real psychic ability. Okay. It's usually coming through the heart. Okay. Non dual merging with God, like becoming one with all, and you don't know how you know, but you just know that you're one with everything. It's this knowing, and the mind, it doesn't understand because it's beyond mind, right? Remember, you are body, mind, soul, right? So your mind is trying to understand, and you think that you are trying to understand, but that's not really you. You are not your mind. You are not a thinker. You are that feeling of beyondness, that oneness, right? Some other things that should be happening if you met your twin flame: out of body experiences. These are the four big ones, these paranormal experiences. You don't have to have all of them. You just have to have at least two of them. It's almost always at least two. For sure, psychic intuition through the heart. Again, whatever information you're shown about the future actually happens 100% of the time. Don't be making shit up. No, it's not the voices in your head. Okay. That's not it, guys. It comes through the heart. That happens to everybody that meets their twin flame. And 80% of the people that met their twin flame have Kundalini. So psychic intuition, 100%. Kundalini, about 80%. Non-dual merging with God, about 80%, right? Out of body experiences, that one's a little lower. It's like 40%. Heart chakra opening, that's a real thing. I mean, I know that sounds kind of new agey, but that's a real thing. And that's roughly, I don't know, 50, 60%. If you're wondering where I get these numbers from, I'm the world's #1 twin flame coach. I've coached 7,000 people. I've helped thousands of people to be with their twin flame. My twin flame and I, of course, we're good. Now, I've had all of these. I have had all five of them. And Plato never mentions any of that stuff. Or, again, the dark night of the soul, the desperation, right after the initial breakup. This, it's a horrible experience. But at some point during Dark Night of the Soul or shortly thereafter, it's always going to be so it from the point of the initial breakup with your twin flame, fast forward 18 to 24 months at the most. I mean, and that's pushing it. But sometime between the initial breakup and then 18 to 24 months after that, some of these five paranormal things will happen if you met your twin flame. And you don't really need to do anything for them to happen. They happen spontaneously. Okay. Highly paranormal, leaving your body, Kundalini, right? So, Kundalini is this sensation of being pulled up into the sky. You feel energy moving through your spine, from the base of your spine, your tailbone, out your crown. Sometimes it makes it up to like the throat chakra and stops. That doesn't happen a lot. Usually it goes all the way. And it's also, you feel like anti-gravity, like you're being pulled up into the sky or pulled out of your body. It's really cool. It doesn't hurt. It feels amazing. Um, it's not hot and cold flashes. It's not emotional. It's not headaches. It's not nausea. Okay. None of those things are spiritual ascension symptoms. And I don't care if you found some random website on the internet that says they are. Those are not spiritual ascension symptoms. That's new age hype from people who aren't really having a spiritual awakening. Okay. If you want to know what Kundalini is, go to the library and get a book that was published before 1975. Because the 1970s is when all this new age crap started. And I'm not sorry for calling it crap. It's crap. It's junk level information. Okay? Not sorry. Not sorry, guys. If you met your twin flame, you will have some or all of these incredibly highly paranormal experiences, not physical symptoms, paranormal, beyond body and mind, like fucking leaving your body. Now, the reason I'm taking the time to explain this to you is again so that we can have a rational conversation about twin flames and astrology, because it's not the soul splits. And there's not even any kind of like known physical law that we could point to, laws of physics, that would explain how that works. The best explanation for what a soul is that it's a wave of probabilities. Okay, the best science that we have about who you are beyond your body and mind is it's just energy. Okay, and that's going to be a wave. Think it like a radio signal, literally like a radio signal. Okay, and your body and mind are tuned, hardwired, hard tuned to that signal, which is coming from some higher plane of existence, I guess what you would call heaven. Now, science hasn't exactly come out and said, yes, there's this higher plane called heaven. Although about half of the physicists out there, that's probably what they're thinking. That's probably what they're thinking. And you can tell because they've said things like, we think the universe is a higher mind. And this higher mind is so refined that our experience of it down here in density in the 3D plane is that it's essentially just consciousness. We don't have a perception that it's mind. It's consciousness. Now, there's a scant amount of information. That's why you can have this intuitive knowing in your heart. Sometimes it happens like lower too. It can happen. There's other forms of intuition. It usually feels kind of like deja vu. And it'll stop you in your tracks and you're like, how do I know this information? It's this knowing, you know? So it's coming from this higher plane is what seems to be going on. And this, I mean, certainly would align with essentially all of the ancient teachings that we've ever heard of about, say, reincarnation and where you go when you die. Now, the one thing that science will tell you is that there are higher planes. Yes, that there are higher planes is true. They're just not really sure how high up they go. And they've even detected some of these planes, you know, like the Higgs field. So to the average physicist, it's a very kind of ordinary, conventional thing up to a point. I mean, at some point, it gets to be very paradoxical. Anybody who thinks they understand quantum physics doesn't understand quantum physics, right? That's a saying. I think that came from who said that? It wasn't Roger Penrose. I don't remember, but somebody said that. So there are these higher planes. They're essentially energy. They exist in the emptiness of the universe. And that's where the higher self is, the soul, right? So here's a diagram of what that would kind of look like when it comes to reincarnation. So this here, these red dots represent incarnations, physical bodies that you, the soul in heaven, this higher plane of existence, have reincarnated into, right? So this is an incarnation, birth year 1770, birth year 1880. This represents you and your twin flame, right? And then this is another incarnation in the future. Now, understand from these higher planes, there is no perception of time at all. Time has no meaning. We, in density in the 3D plane, seem to experience time or something akin to that. There seems to be a linear experience. it's kind of an illusion. It's kind of a magic trick, but yes, it seems that way, right? Well, from up here, there's not even the illusion. There's not even a magic trick going on. It's just, there's just not time on these higher planes. And again, this is what physics is going to tell you about higher planes. So, all moments in time, if you could live on this higher plane, like the soul, all points in time seem to be happening simultaneously from the perspective of your higher self. So, all of these incarnations, all of these moments in time are happening all at once from your soul's perspective. And that's really how science says that would work if that were true. And again, I'm not grasping at straws. I'm just trying to use the best modern science that we have, scientific understanding about how our universe functions in order to explain reincarnation, where you go when you die, right? There's no such thing as magic, guys. Magic is just science undiscovered. Now, that means if there's no time up here, then you can reincarnate anywhere you want. You can hop all around in time. Okay? Some people think that when you reincarnate, you have to go into the future in order to do that. You don't. You don't have to do that. Like if you die, say in 70 years from now, you die, and then what would that be? 2009? No, no, no. Come on. Come on, do some math here. It'd be 95. Yeah, 95. So 2095, I have to reincarnate in 2096 because I died in 2095, right? That's what people think because they're thinking linear, but you don't. If you die in 2095, you can go back to the 1970s and reincarnate there. You can hop all around in time. Reincarnation is a time machine. There's no time up here, guys. So 1770 birth year, that could be a future reincarnation. Now, what this makes, this is, again, this is really how science says higher planes work. And if it is true that when you die, you go up to a higher plane, then yes, that is how that would work. Yes. I'm not, again, I'm not grasping at straws. I'm not even pushing the science a little bit. The only thing I'm adding is to say, hey, well, if it's true that there's life after death, where do you go? Well, I guess you go to a higher plane. Is there time on these higher planes? No. If there is reincarnation, then therefore, yeah, that's how that would work, guys. So I'm just trying to prove the fact that you can explain the fact that you can prove all this scientifically. You don't have to make shit up, guys, about twin flames. This is why I'm Mr. Mythbuster all the time with all the stupid twin flame myths. And I'm not sorry for calling them stupid. And I'm going to make a video pretty soon. I've already talked a little bit about this on my YouTube channel about where some of those myths came from. They came from a cult. Not very good. Now, twin flames is real, but let's just not make shit up about it. So here's the thing with your twin flame, guys. If you guys are the same soul, there is a rational explanation for how that would work. It's just reincarnation, guys. You really did meet somebody who has the same soul as you. And there's a real scientific way to explain how that would work. Using real science. How cool is that? Okay. Your twin flame, best answer, most likely answer, they are one of your past lives. So, in other words, when the person you call twin flame does the thing that we call die, they go back up to heaven and they're going to reincarnate and they're going to be fucking you. I'm for real. As in being born into your body and living your life and everything. Now, I don't know the distance between number of lives lived. It could be 4, it could be 6, it could be 10, it could be 1,000. I don't know. One thing that happens every time that you reincarnate, of course, is your consciousness is supposed to be evolving and growing, right? The more times you reincarnate. And that would explain the push pull. I'm not going to get into that in this video too much more deeply because I want to get to the astrology part. But this is why they run. Okay? You're pushing them away with your mind. But this is a very grounded, rational explanation for twin flames. It explains how you guys could be the same soul. It explains the push pull, why they run, and it is using very well known, well established scientific law. I'm not pushing the science even a little bit, guys. It's a very rational, grounded explanation. You don't have to like it. Most people, it makes sense to them. I've had a couple of people that go, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It just doesn't resonate. Well, when somebody figured out that the earth revolves around the sun, it didn't resonate with a lot of people, but it turned out to be true. So it doesn't really matter if it resonates or not. But that said, could my theory be wrong? I suppose. I suppose. Um, I think the only way that you could really test it is to do a massive number of um, past life regressions. And I have some ideas about how you could conduct controlled scientific research on um, twin flames using like past life regression. You could do that. Another thing that I'd like to know about is astrology. Does that affect things? Because here's the thing. So now that we've talked about what twin flames are, again, I mean, this is a very simple explanation for twin flames, that they are one of your past lives. It's just reincarnation. And it aligns perfectly with known physical laws, how the universe functions. It is the most not presumptuous, not even a little bit out there theory about how you could be the same soul as some other person, which is what twin flames are. Also, a lot of you watching, the eyes, like you've seen me talk about this, like the not the color of your eyes, but like the shape, right? The shape of the bone, the facial structure around your eyes, right here, this part, it's going to match 100% of the time. If it's your twin flame, you're going to see it. You're going to see it. And it's the shape, guys. Now, some of you, actually a lot of you, I've seen lots of pictures. People send them to me. Y'all motherfuckers look like cousins, brother and sister. Mine does. We do. We do. And I see this all the time, you guys. It's awesome. Now, your eyes are windows to the soul, right? That's what they say. Touche. You guys are the same soul, man. It's true. How fucking cool is that? Now, here's the thing about reincarnation, which is all this really is, and astrology. You have reincarnated hundreds or thousands of times, right? It's very possible that it's been thousands or tens of thousands, even. Those of us on this journey, what we seem to bring to the table is, I think, what you would call an old soul, right? So somebody that's reincarnated a bunch of times. Or maybe that's true and we came from somewhere else. And again, this kind of sounds like some of that new agey stuff, like star seeds. But I have to say, some of that stuff can be true. Yeah, it could be true. Why couldn't you? Why couldn't you come here as a soul, transport here and start incarnating here. Why can't you do that? Is there any reason you couldn't do that? I mean, that seems pretty grounded, pretty rational. Because when you leave your body, you're no longer restricted by the physical universe. You can travel from this place to this place instantly. I mean, millions of light years of distance in an instant, right? And there's even, people that talk about like UFOs and how those would work. That's essentially what they think it is. It's not that the craft travels through space from point A to point B, a couple of billion light years, right? It's not even that. It's they go through the field. They used to call it the ether. You're not supposed to say ether anymore, right? That's like bad etiquette in the science world, which is kind of dumb, but whatever. The field, you dematerialize as a physical thing, the craft, travel through the field, which you don't really travel through. You're not moving through it because it's all one mind. And you arrive at your new destination, point B, instantly, right? And death, you are leaving the physical realm. Yes. And then when you reincarnate, you're re entering it. And that's essentially what a UFO craft is doing. It's dying and then reincarnating. I mean, more or less, that's how that would work. So, yeah, why couldn't you travel from another place in the cosmos as a soul? Theoretically, it's possible. It is very possible if that's really how that works. So I don't know. I don't know how you would prove what the real answer is. These are theories that are actually very grounded. They really are, you guys. I'm not gonna lie. The starseed thing, yeah, that could be real. That could be real. It doesn't violate any kind of physical law. Astrology too, there's something to that. We'll talk about that. But I'm doing all this setup to kind of get you to first realize what's really going on here with your twin flame. Okay, you're a soul. It's reincarnation. Yeah, you guys are the same soul. And they trigger, if it's your twin flame, they trigger this incredible awakening. We talked about that at the beginning. Now, how can you screw it up? How can you get them to run? Keep focusing on them with your mind. Remember your body, mind, soul, right? You focus on your physical twin flame too much, mentally, emotionally, or metaphysically, they're gone. They're gone because you're making them the goal, you're making them the purpose, which it's not even you that's doing that, it's the mind, right? And what does genuine spiritualism have to say about your true nature? What's the first thing they're going to say to you? Well, the name of the first chapter of Eckhart Tolle's book here is You Are Not Your Mind. He's essentially the modern day Buddha, Eckhart Tolle, right? Your true nature is that you are consciousness, you are being, and thus this being, this soul, which is not thought or emotion, it's not duality. From our perspective, we don't experience it as such. Our experience is that it's completely non-dual. It's not yin and yang. It's not hot and cold. It's not light and dark. It's not good or bad. It's not positive, negative, right? It's none of those things. It's completely non-dual. All right. So this diagram, I'm showing you yin and yang. That's what they're talking about. The mind, I like it, I don't like it. It's good, it's bad. It's past, it's future. It's here, it's there, right? It's off, it's on. It's one, it's zero. It's something, it's nothing. Duality, right? The mind. That's how that works. That's not who you are. You are the conscious awareness beyond mind, which is the basic tenet of genuine spiritualism. Who are you beyond the body and the mind? The soul. Who are you beyond the soul? The source, right? But from our point of view in the physical world, the soul is essentially that. It is non dual, it's just the one. It's not two, it's a monad. It's the one. And in science, of course, they have the same system. They just give them different names, relativity or singularity. But this source, you could also call it oneness, right? So the soul doesn't have any preferences about what is. The mind does. And you believe yourself to be the mind. So what I do is I teach my students all of these things that we've been talking about. And then I also teach them, okay, align with your soul, which is just being and existing. And it's okay with whatever is. It doesn't look at like your physical twin flame is rejecting you, running from you, putting you in the friend zone, blocking you, whatever, and go, well, it shouldn't be like that. It's like this. I don't like that. It should be like this because I do like that. Duality. Don't like it, do like it. Present moment, future time, right? Duality. That's the mind. But that's not you. You are consciousness. Consciousness is not thought or emotion. The soul is not thinking or feeling emotions. It's just peace. It's oneness. And when you align with that, instead of allowing your monkey mind to dictate how things should be, your twin flame comes back. And it works. It works. It keeps working, guys. I've coached 7,000 twin flames. Let me show you something. So just go to my YouTube channel, scroll down. There's this playlist called Twin Flame Success Stories, New World All-Star Reviews, right? And these are some of the people that I've coached, and they're married to their twin flame. They're living together, right? I got all these people, and then I've got, videos that I make. I'll do like a big batch of them once every few months and document all the people that leave comments on my YouTube channel that are with their twin flame. They're married to their twin flame. I've also got my free masterclass. So if you want, you know, something free, there's this masterclass. There's a link in the description of this video that you're watching where I explain the difference between twin flames and soulmates. That's kind of the first mistake that everybody makes, is to confuse this with soulmates. And so they treat it like soulmates, and it doesn't work because you're focusing on your twin flame. Here's John. He's married to his twin flame. That's him and his twin flame right there. Tanaya, she's married to her twin flame. Now, the reason I'm sharing that with you is to demonstrate, yeah, this works. I've helped a lot of people to be with their twin. And again, the idea is you and your twin flame are the same soul. You got to do soul stuff, right? Okay. When you align with your soul, personality doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter at all. Your mind doesn't make any difference whatsoever. And again, you've incarnated and reincarnated all over the place. How many different birthdays have you experienced as a soul? Right? So, this here, you can get this on Amazon. I think I paid $22 for this book. It's probably more now, but it wasn't a lot. I mean, it might be $30 or $40. I don't know. And it's a hardcover book too, by the way. What's interesting about this book, you guys, is it doesn't start with astrology. It ends there. The 366 personality profiles in the secret language of birthdays, right? There's 366 possible birthdays, because every 4 years we have a leap year, right? Okay. Are based on a combination of astrology, numerology, the tarot, and Gary Goldschneider's many years of observation of more than 14,000 people, including contemporary and historical figures. So, what they did was they assembled 14,000 personality profiles, 14,000 people, and they made a list of all the personality traits that make up that person's personality. And then they took all 14,000 of them and categorized all the people by birthday. So now you have 366 categories using 14,000 people. And they said, okay, there's going to be differences. We get that. But how are all of these people in each category the same? What's similar amongst all the people on each day? And they wrote a profile. And then they gave this information to astrologers, and astrologers looked at it and said, that matches. That matches. That matches what we know astrologically to be true. You guys, I've got a friend who is an atheist who is dumbfounded by the accuracy of astrology. And I'm not talking about the stupid horoscope in the back of the newspaper. If you talk to a real astrologer who knows what they're doing, they tell you things. And it's like, how do they know that, right? It's very accurate. Somebody that really knows what they're doing. And I get an astrology reading once a year. Now, I used to kind of worry about what I was being told and I would overthink the information. But after a few years of getting readings, I was like, wait, whatever the astrologer is telling me is going to happen in the coming year, it's really like a weather forecast. You don't need to do anything about it per se. I mean, you could kind of plan life decisions around some of the timing, yes. But that's the thing about the timing is it's like an energetic weather report for how you're going to experience life for that year or whatever, right? So, very interesting. If you get this book and you read your birthday, you're going to be fucking shocked. You're going to be fucking shocked. It's I can't believe how accurate it is, you guys. It's nuts. It's nuts. Now, hmm? So, on the inside cover is a table. You can look up your birthday and somebody else's birthday and find out the page number where there's a little breakdown for whether or not the two of you would be compatible. And it's insanely accurate, you guys. It's wow. Um, so they categorize relationship types. Um, so like in other words, it's like a sliding scale from best to worst. So if you've got these two people with these two birthdays, the best pairing is going to be parent child, and the worst is going to be lovers. But then there's everything in between, including like marriage. So there's lovers is one category, and then there's another category for marriage, and then there's another category for sexual, and then there's another category for coworkers, and then there's another category for brother, sister, siblings. And then there's another category for friends. So that's good because they're being precise. So if you see when it says best is parent child, worst is marriage, that doesn't mean that you guys wouldn't be good lovers. It means that lovers is in the middle somewhere between best and worst. There's this sliding scale. Okay. Um, yeah, this one here says best pairing is work, like you work together. Worst is parent child, right? Um, this one here says best is friendship, worst is work. This one here says best is marriage, worst is work. So you kind of see how that works. Um, you can go look up yourself and your twin flame in this book or any person. Every relationship that I've had, and I mean relationship, friend, coworker, parents, my siblings, um, I've been married twice. So I looked up both of those people that I've dated, even, and I read it, and it's accurate. It's accurate, guys. My second marriage, oh my God, what a train wreck. And then I looked it up in there and it said, yeah, the worst possible pairing for love, for relationships, for romantic was me and my second wife. And it was a pretty bad time. It was terrible. Oh my God. God, she was awful, dude. Holy shit. Wow. Um, and then I looked it up in here several years later and I was like, well, there you go. That's what it said. Now for me and my twin flame, mine said you guys would get along great in that kind of a situation. So I don't know. I don't know, guys. Again, so I showed you earlier my twin flame success stories playlist. And part of the reason I wanted to share that with you, you guys, is because all of these people that I interview, there's 8 of them. Every single one of them, the ones that are married, all of them, they're all going to tell you that being with your twin flame is just peace. Personality, it doesn't really matter. My twin flame, you guys, we are pretty divergent politically, right? And that's usually something people like to fight about, right? Not us. We just kind of let it go. And it's just peaceful all the time. So again, the soul is non-dual. Does astrology affect the soul? I mean, by now, after everything that we've talked about in today's video, that's kind of a question mark, isn't it? It seems that astrology, it really only affects the incarnations that come down here. Because you could be, again, if there's 1,000 of you down here, then you probably have been born on every single birthday there is. So does it really matter with your twin flame? I don't know. That's my answer. I don't think so. Again, the soul is non-dual. The only way to get your twin flame to come and stay is to go that route, to be non-dual. Personality types, again, the researchers that assembled the information in these books, their starting point was something called personalogy, the study of personality traits. And then they assembled 366 profiles based on birthdays. But with your twin flame, that doesn't really help you at all. Your mind is where the personality is formed. That is the mind, essentially. But you and your twin flame, you're not the same mind, you're the same soul. And the only thing that works for you to get your twin flame to come back is for you to align with your soul, not your mind. If you align with your mind, your twin flame runs, guys. So does personality really matter? I don't think so. I don't think so. But this is going to be one of the questions that I'm going to want to find out an answer to in the coming years. You guys, I'm not going anywhere. New World All Star. This is a real phenomenon. I prefer to refer to it as simultaneous incarnations. Your twin flame is one of your past lives. Simultaneous incarnations. Again, this is the most rational, down to earth, backed by science, even explanation. There's real scientific laws that we can use, and we don't have to like shove them into place to get them to fit. They fit perfectly. Perfectly. So, does astrology affect the soul? No, I think the soul affects astrology, right? Okay, life flows down from the soul to the body and mind, not the other way. That's why I'm always telling you guys, for example, you go, well, how do I align with my soul? Well, you don't think your way there. You don't heal your way into the soul. The whole healing myth, I've busted that myth a bazillion times. It doesn't work. You don't need to do healing. That's a myth, guys. You can't think your way into the soul. You are a soul now. The mind came along and just covered that up. It's called a personality, which formed by the age of 7 or 8. But what was there first? What about the newborn baby? There was no personality, this clump of retained thought and emotional imprints. Yeah, it wasn't there. A newborn baby. So, what is there with a newborn baby? Consciousness. Consciousness. And it's completely non dual. It's not affected by any kind of thoughts or emotions or personality traits at all. And again, every time I teach this to somebody who's really met their twin flame, twin comes back. Now, I'll tell you what, just to play devil's advocate, because again, I'm going to try to get answers to some of these questions in the coming years and decades. This is my career, guys. It's a real phenomenon. I'd like to know more about it. I don't think it really is anything other than just research into reincarnation. Reincarnation doesn't prove twin flames. Twin flames proves reincarnation. So, I don't know. Maybe someday I'll take a survey of everybody that I've ever helped, and I'll start with 2 categories: people that aren't with their twin and people that are with their twin. And I'll get their birthdays and see maybe the people that are with their twin, maybe they have compatible personalities according to personology here. And then the people that aren't, maybe they're like my second wife and I, where it's just, right? Absolutely not compatible. Um, I don't know. I don't know, guys. But before I die, there's going to be books. So stick around. If you really met your twin flame, I'm sure you're going to be interested. I'm sure you guys, this affects you for life. You're never, once you see it, you can't unsee it, right? So we'll see. I don't think so. I don't think it makes any difference. But then again, who knows? Who knows? If I find one twin flame pair where they're married and this book says that they would never make a good couple, that would make more sense to me. This isn't soulmates. This isn't soulmates, guys, but I don't know. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Maybe that affects things. Because there's students of mine who met their twin flame and got them to come back, and their twin flame wants them, and they don't want their twin. Why? Is it personality? Which, that's one of those myths. Again, another myth. You have to be with your twin flame. And if you're not with your twin flame, then it's not really your twin flame. They're your perfect lover and you're supposed to be together. Yeah, that's called soulmates. Guys, this is your spiritual awakening. It's reincarnation and they trigger your awakening. You can get them to be with you, though, yes. So, what is true is your twin flame wants you. But does that mean that you would be a good couple? Is that also true? Again, couple of examples. Here, right here, Carly. If you want to go watch this interview with Carly, he still wants her, you guys, but she doesn't want to be with him. Why? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's this. Maybe she doesn't like his personality. You know what I mean? Another person, here, I'll show you. Oh, Chanel. Here we go. Um, this video, how old is this video? A year ago. Yeah, and they were together at the time when I recorded this video. And then she contacted me like 6 months later and she was like, yeah, I broke up with him. Am I wrong for doing that? And I was like, no, no, not at all. You don't have to be with your twin. And she still writes me from time to time. She emailed me about a month ago. He still wants her, guys. He still wants her, but she's just not interested. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's this. So I'm just doing everything I can up here today in this video to just try to be honest, just tell you everything that I know about twin flames. I'll kick around all the theories that I know. You don't have to agree with everything that I'm saying as far as theory about this. That's fine. I welcome your comments. I'm going to ask for some kind of proof or some kind of a rational explanation, for why you're saying the things you're saying. That's all I ask. The problem I have with almost all of the information online about twin flames is it's not based on anything. It's just some shit somebody made up. It's not based on any kind of physical laws. It's all mythology. Everything that I've been talking to you about for the last 52 minutes, it's all based on something tangible. And I've got evidence to back it up. I've got all these people I've helped that are all having the same experience. They put these teachings into practice. I coach them how to get their twin flame to come back, and it works. And it's the soul, guys. It's non-dual. But does that mean you're going to be with them? And why? Why aren't you with them? I've had people who met their twin flame, and for sure, they met their twin flame for sure. They had all the metaphysical stuff. They had the awakening for sure. They had all the paranormal experiences. And they said, he's actually kind of a dick and I don't want him. So, like my second wife, right? And guys, were you always a perfect, wonderful angel in every one of your past lives? Come on. Come on, guys. We've all been a sinner and a saint. We've all been a good guy and a bad guy. All of us. You've been even just an ordinary, like a factory hand or a housewife or a worker bee at a big office in the 1950s, or a farm hand. You worked on a farm. And then one time you were a bank robber. One time you were a scam artist. And then another time you were like this perfect, saintly, wonderful, good person. It's reincarnation. The soul, it wants experiences, guys. So I don't know. Again, that's everything that I know, guys. I told you I would just tell you everything I know. Here's the information. You decide what to do with it. You decide what to do with it. It's not my job to tell you what to think. That's just here's all the data. There you go. There you go, guys. So that's it for this one. I hope you found this one interesting. I sure did. And I'll see you in the next video. See you there.